Today on the Let's Talk Ability Show, we are talking about albinism. We are going to look at the causes of albinism.
Yes.
The cope of life of persons living with albinism.
Yeah.
And the challenges they go through.
Okay.
I know it's not easy.
It is never easy. Let's invite our guests so that they can come on and then help us to start talking ability. Can we welcome them with a clap?
Madam Mawunyo and Mr. Newton. Welcome.
Thank you, Joshua.
It is great having you here.
Yeah, same. We are happy to be
Thank you
here.
very much for coming.
Pleasure.
Oh, I hope you're all fine.
Yes, very well.
You're doing well.
Great. Oh, we want to know, why is albinism categorized as a disability?
Yes, albinism is it's a disabling condition because of the low vision that we have, and it varies from person to person. Some of our members or some people with albinism end up studying Braille, for instance, because you need to manage with the limited vision that you have. And some is so, they are almost like, blind. So, yes. And the fact that, especially in our part of the world, with the scorching sun and all that, many people, because we don't have the protective pigmentation, and then you keep exposing yourself to the sun, many people get cancer and all of that. And also for all the stigmatization and all that. Okay. Yes. So it's a disabling condition. And then I also want to add that UN even passed an International Awareness Albinism Day, just to make all member countries of the United Nations to bring the society's consciousness to the fact that there are people in your midst that have these challenges.
Okay.
Good. So, can you tell us about yourself? Who is Mawunyo?
My sweet Mawunyo, before you come in, viewers watching us up there, if you want to join the conversation, have so many questions to ask our guest stars about albinism, you can join us on our social media, hashtag Let's Talk Ability on Facebook and then Twitter. And you can also join us on our website, www.henryjabafoundation.org.gh.
So, tell us.
Mawunyo is a twin.
Mawunyo. You are a twin?
Yes, Mommy.
Wow.
Yes, and we are the first-born children of our parents. We have other two brothers. One has albinism, the last one does not have.
Okay.
Yeah, so went to school, primary, secondary, attended Accra Polytechnic, did my HND accounting.
Accounting?
Yes, please. Followed to the University of Cape Coast to do my bachelor's. And then almost done with my MBA in accounting.
Let's talk. Let's talk.
Thank you.
This is what we're talking about.
Yeah, currently I work with the audit service, and I'm a principal auditor.
Wow.
And a little about my family. I'm married to Mr. Dagbah, and we have two handsome boys.
Yay! I like that. So,
Isn't it getting interested?
Mr. Newton, also tell us a little about yourself.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Newton Komla Katseku, a proud son of Mr. Bright Kofi Katseku and then Frida Fuakufuya of Yakor-Dagbah in the Volta region.
That's right.
I'm the first son to this beautiful family.
Okay.
We are 3 siblings.
Okay.
I'm the only person with albinism.
Really?
Them.
The
Yes.
other two don't have
They
albinism?
don't have albinism.
Wow.
Okay.
And while I schooled in the holy village of Yakor-Dagbah, continued to secondary school,
Okay.
to the training college, and Came out as a professional teacher.
Oh, so you're a
A
professional
teacher.
teacher.
Yes.
You have to start teaching me soon.
And I also continued to University of Education, Winneba, to do my first degree.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I had the opportunity also to study, to do a number of short courses in NGO and civil society organization
Wow.
management, and currently a student at the Pretoria University doing Masters of.
Hey, give it up for Mr. Newton.
Wow.
And what's your position in the association?
Well, I'm the executive director of the
You
Ghana
are the
Association.
executive director.
Ghana
He's a
Association of Persons with
huge
Albinism.
man.
The whole Ghana.
Yes, please.
Let's talk.
Ability.
Yeah.
Well, before becoming the executive director, I worked as a national secretary
Okay.
with my sister
Uh-huh.
while she was the president from
Yes.
2009 to 2015
Okay.
with some of our executive members, right?
So
At the
you know a
audience here.
lot about albinism.
We have to get to our audience for them to also start their chip chat.
Yes.
Have a lot of questions maybe to ask
Yes.
our guest stars.
My name is Helena Na. I want to ask Auntie Mawunyo, why are we born with the condition albinism?
First of all, I'd like to say that we are all born or created in the image of God. And somehow, God in his own wisdom decided to make some of us not to have the pigmentation.
Okay.
And so how are we born? It's a genetic condition.
Okay.
Your parents, both father and mother, should have the albinism traits to be able to carry on to you.
Okay.
And so I want to also demystify that situation where people say it's the mother's fault. No. Once you are a person with albinism, it means that your father also carries the traits. And that is how come.
Do any of your parents have albinism?
No, please.
How about you, Mr. Newton?
No.
Okay. Who has a question here?
Hello, Mr. Newton. I have a question for you. I want to ask about the myths surrounding albinism. And if you can help clear some and tell us why these myths exist.
Okay.
Albinism comes with a number of myths. And I thank God that you said they are myths. Because they don't exist. Most of them don't exist. Let me just touch on a few of them.
Okay.
That person with albinism do not eat a specific types of food. One is beans. So when you give birth to a person with albinism, a child with albinism, you deny that child with the most nutritious food on this earth called beans.
Is that you can't eat beans.
You can't eat beans. It's not true. Number two, it also comes that we don't eat salt.
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 Hey.
Person with albinism, they are just quote unquote normal persons as we are. It's because of the lack of pigmentation, the melanin, that makes us more differently than what other persons look.
Okay.
The other that person with albinism do not die.
Persons with albinism do
Do
not
not
die.
They vanish.
Hey.
Hey.
In as much as
Everybody
we
dies.
have life,
Yeah.
we do die. And there's another hilarious one that said person with albinism do not attend nature's call on Fridays.
Oh.
What?
Only Fridays.
Only Fridays.
What is special about Friday?
What is special about Friday is what we need to demystify. And our message is that all these things are not true. They just there to denigrate the character or the personality as a person with albinism. We are human beings, and we do live, we die, and then we attend nature's call, we do anything that quote and unquote the so-called normal human beings does. And one significant thing about albinism is that we are more clever than anybody else.
Yay!
Thank you very much.
Let's talk.
Ability.
Let's talk.
Ability.
A person with albinism, is it a challenge?
Amanda, I will not sit here and say that there are no challenges. There are challenges, especially growing up with all the staring and the teasing. You can easily give up.
Okay.
They tease you.
Because you are looking different. You look different than they look. I mean, we lived in a Ga community. You are on your way to school or you are going somewhere and they are chanting the songs. Oh, Frida Tokpamble. You feel so bad. You feel so bad. Like, don't I belong here?
Yeah.
You know. So I know many of my brothers today with albinism, they dropped out of school. Combining with that, sitting in classroom and not even able to see on the board.
What's the problem?
Because we have the low vision.
Okay.
Sometimes you are on the first row, and you still have to get up to go to the board. But with determination, you will overcome.
With determination,
Yes.
you will overcome.
And I'm a
Let's
testimony
talk.
to that.
Ability. Mama Tiko, can I chip in with some messages coming from our viewers? We have Jackie from Odogono, who is asking that, she's asking that what is the politically correct word? Is it persons living with albinism? Because since she's watching the show, she has seen us saying person with albinism, and why not albinos? Sorry.
When we talk about albino, it entails a lot. It's from the word albini, can be derived from plants. So when you talk about albino, you are referring to either a plant, animal, or or human being. So the technical name that we accept is persons with albinism. We need to identify the potential of the individual first before each condition.
Oh, wow.
So persons with albinism and
Let's
not
talk.
persons living with albinism.
So viewers
Let's
up
talk.
there. So viewers up there, it is not albino. Don't call them albino.
Who ofie na wutie a yeka albinism asem yenka emfa say obi ye albino. Politically correct no obeka say enipa no ewo albinism. Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is David K. Tosuche. May I know if the community or the nation treat you badly because you are living with albinism?
It will be interesting to note that some communities bar persons with albinism living in their community in those areas. Mention can be mentioned of some few villages around the Brim River and some communities dotted in the country, where there are bad practices prohibit persons with albinism living or coming closer to the town. Some of them attribute it to as chieftaincy or their practices in the chief palaces, which is not the best. In the Constitution enjoys the rights of persons with all manner of persons, including persons with albinism and persons with disability, to enjoy life in any other places.
Okay.
Freedom of living together in any other establishment. But there are bad practices prohibits persons with albinism to live in those communities comfortably. Coupled with name calling and indiscriminate killing of persons with albinism.
Hey,
but
we
when
kill
they
albinos
say
in
this,
Ghana.
people dismissify it.
Mr. Newton, are albinos killed in Ghana? I thought
Albinos
it
are
was
killed in Ghana.
in this our beautiful country.
Yes, I'm telling you on a phone.
I thought it was something far-fetched or from other
It's not
places.
far-fetched from these myths are far-fetched from Ghana. Like persons with albinism never die, they vanish. So in a community whereby you don't see person with albinism 2-3 days, it means that the person has vanished. I've been telling
but
you.
somebody
Yes,
has killed them.
Someone has killed them because you don't have the data, the correct data on person with albinism in the community is being killed.
Okay.
And
okay.
when you say this, they ask you to challenge, to prove it.
This is serious.
Okay.
Mr. Newton, there's a message from Nathan in Kokomemle. He wants to find out that since there is this discriminatory acts in our various society, are there any schools specially made for persons with albinism?
Okay.
We're talking about, in this modern Ghana, we're talking about inclusivity. There is no special school meant for persons with albinism in Ghana. But with the conditions of albinism, most of our children, our people find themselves in a school for the blind because of the vision problem, the vision challenge. And medically, we've been termed as legally blind because we have short sight and those sort of. So, in a nutshell, we do not have any special schools, but we currently talking about inclusive education. When we talk about inclusive education, let the schools be adaptable. Let us be accessible to persons with albinism or without albinism to cope. And let the learning materials also to be accessible to persons with albinism so that we can enjoy a rightful life to education? Thank you.
Let's talk. Who else has a question? Okay, you.
Okay. My name is Ekufumod from Koforidua. I want to know the causes of albinism and if there is any prevention of not giving birth to persons with albinism.
I think earlier on I mentioned that our parents should have the genetic trait of albinism.
Yeah.
That was said. Prevention, interestingly, it's very difficult, even in the developed world. There is no specific test. I think it will be a very complex one, which they don't even encourage. So two people meet, they are in love, they want to marry. There's no test. It's not like how you test for HIV, AIDS. Oh, no. There's no test to show that you have the trait, and so you shouldn't marry. Okay. And so once, I always say, and that is why I, for instance, joined the advocacy. Once I'm alive, it means that my children are carrying the trait. They may be carrying the trait, and if in future they meet somebody else who also carries the trait, it means that children with albinism will be born. So we can't prevent it. Our race will continue to exist. And so it's better we make the society accessible and we all become, to accommodate everybody.
Okay. My name is Miriam. I want to know what are the challenges you face in your marriage? Do you face any challenges in your in-laws or your husband, friends?
Thank you.
So, Obi, we are a person with albinism. Who challenges be, and ebi no mo ewo we busuemu na ukunu ebusuemu. Omeni nye ho say ukunu waware a person with albinism.
Thank you, Mariam. I think after my answer, my husband will have to say something.
Okay. Let's talk.
I want to put him on the spotlight. Anyway, before I come to myself, I want to say that many persons with albinism have challenge of marriage. Because even if you go out there, you conduct an interview and maybe people on the street, you ask them, will you allow your sister or your family member to marry a pet? You will find many people saying no. No. Why? Because of the misconception and the prejudice and all that. But I'm blessed that the family I married into, I don't have any challenge with them. I was accepted. They saw my abilities and my capabilities. I think they looked past the albinism. Yes. So for me, I don't have any challenge. I mean, they adore me so much. Yes, that I've joined their family. Yes.
Mawunyo is a beautiful girl.
I can see that.
And so it's good to love anybody. Yeah. Love is for everybody. Sure. Yes, Mr. Newton.
Yeah, before the husband comes in, and let's also want to say that the reason why people do not allow their children to go into marriage with persons with albinism is the misconception that they have. Yes, that persons with albinism are ghosts, they are bad.
Bad omens.
They are cares, they are bad omens to the society. That is why most people do not want their children to go into those things. But we, as she rightly said, we've been loved by people who need to love us. Sure. We've
show some love.
People who need to love us.
Show some love. Yes.
We
need to show love to persons
love
with albinism. Yep. Because almost some are persons. Yes, why be on the Bika?
I'd like to ask Auntie Mawunyo that, as you said earlier, some people give up on the academic ladder. Yeah. Some people give up because you can't see in the class you've been teased and stuff. So what is the drive? What keep you going? Now you are an accountant. What will you say to motivate other people who are living with albinism and they are coming up? Thank you.
Let's talk
ability.
Yes, Auntie Mawunyo.
Thank you very much. I was blessed to have parents who understood, like who read about it. They didn't know so much about the condition, but once they had 3 of us with albinism, He decided to read more and then ask people what to do and what not to do. I think I could have easily also dropped out of school because you are teasing, you are crying, you run home and our mom would say, no, you are doing so well in school. And so they kept encouraging us. I think many of my brothers with albinism do not have that support from home.
Okay.
And so currently the association, and we are here talking about ability, we are telling parents, don't abandon your children. Because when you are that young, it's very easy. Now I understand the condition. I don't need to run home to tell my parents or that somebody did this to me. Because now I know what to do. You understand? But when you are that young, you can easily. And so when you are that young, the parents must really be with you. They must really support you. Okay. And so currently our advocacy, we've even created a parents group.
Parents group?
Yes.
All right.
So that those of us who are older now, our parents should also kind of mentor the young parents, young mothers, young fathers who have children with albinism to ensure that they keep them in school. Because when you don't stay in school, you end up doing the menial work, selling on the streets and all that, and you have all these dark spots, and that will result in cancer. And you don't even have that money to pay for the treatment. And so we need to stay in school.
So it is okay. It is okay to be a person with albinism. It is very okay because we are all human beings. We're just created differently. So parents, support your children and don't let them vanish, in quotes. Don't let them vanish. Because if Mawunyo's parents or family had let her vanish, today she will not be contributing to society.
Not at all.
As an accountant in the audit service or Mr. Newton will not be contributing because it's about what you have up there, your brains and your talent and your ability.
Okay, my name is Kwame Andres Dakulo. All our discussion was focusing on challenges persons with albinism face in the society. Now, how do we deal with those challenges? What can we do for people to understand albinism and stop the discrimination and stigmatization?
Mr. Newton, how do you live with it and cope with it and make sure that discrimination and stigma no you bet me I manage as persons living with albinism?
Kwame, thank you very much for that question. And yes, it's all about advocacy and awareness creation and education. If we take this issue of albinism into a very right perspective, you realize that it is only within this 21st century that the issue of albinism is coming on the limelight.
Okay.
Because over the years, we only know of the visually impaired, the hearing impaired, and the physical challenged. And with this sort of awareness creation or education, we will overcome all these things.
Okay.
Because most people do not understand what albinism is, why do they exist, what are the potentials, the abilities that these people have.
Let's talk
ability.
So let us continue with the advocacy and the education. Most especially, let all the systems that we have nationally works.
Good.
If the system nationally works, when we have the laws that talks about albinism, and then they have the law that protects persons with albinism. I was sharing with somebody that we have nations that have national policies on albinism. Ghana, we don't have it. We have nations that supported albinism issues in terms of medication, on medically. Ghana, we don't have it. If we have the system that supports persons with albinism, there will not be people living out there looking for the person with the ability to vanish or person with the ability to walk about. Thank you very much.
Let's talk. Let's talk. We are going to work on it so that Ghana will have a policy on albinism to ensure that the rights of persons who have albinism will also be protected.
It is true, viewers up there watching this, that whether you have albinism or not, you are a human being. As Kwame Nkrumah said, and I quote, no one was born criminal, it's the society. So for them to vanish or not, for them to enjoy their abilities or not, for us as a state to move on with them or not still depend on us. I wish you hold on, don't go anywhere, stay tuned and listen for more. Grab a snack, we'll be back shortly.
Let's talk. Let's talk.
I'm a winner, not a loser, overcomer. I am more.
My name is Suleiman Adam. I want to ask Mr. Newton, as you're testing with albinism, what can I do to prevent my skin from getting the cancer we've all been preaching about? And then secondly, what can we do to push, or what can we do to get the government to come up with policy and programs that will suitable to persons with albinism alone? Thank you.
As you rightly said, persons with albinism, our number one enemy, apart from the social prejudices that we suffered from, is the sun.
The sun.
The sun. You. So when a person with albinism is being, the body is being exposed to the direct rays of sun,
okay,
it causes what we call sunburn.
Sunburn.
Yes.
All right.
The direct rays of sun, because of the lack of the melanin, the sunburn causes the body. Then, if not protected or treated, develops into what we call the dark spots. These dark spots also develop into another conditions that turns into what we call the body cancer. Treatment of cancer is very, very expensive in this part of the world that we find ourselves. So we advocate that we should protect our body. Always be put on a long sleeves or long hands.
Okay.
That to cover your body. Put on shade or hat.
Okay.
That with a wider brim. So that it covers or protects your body from the direct sun rays.
Okay.
After doing that, if you have the money, the capacity to purchase or to have a body lotion or sun care products.
Is it special from the ones we always use?
I don't know the one you always use.
Body lotion, ordinary body lotion.
No, it is special. With the sun protective factor.
It must have sun protective factor. All right.
To protect the body, to moisturize the body, so that if you apply it, the continuous application and the number of hours that you stay under the scorching sun, you can be applying that cream and you can expose your body to the weather.
Like a sunscreen.
As a sunscreen.
Okay.
But it also comes with its own effect. You're supposed to be applying it intermittently.
So intermittently.
So by say every 15 minutes you need to apply it.
Okay.
Then, apart from that, if you cannot protect your body with the long sleeve, and that is why you resort to the use of the sun care product, the lotions, and the lip balm. Protects the leaves from breaking.
Okay.
Yes. So if you look at Mawunyo, for instance, she's looking so prettier. The magic is she applies the sun care product frequently. Back to the government policy, what the government should do to protect or to exclude issues of albinism separately. Yes, we take inspirations from other countries.
Okay.
In Nigeria, for instance, they have educational policy, national educational policy on albinism.
National educational policy
on
albinism. Okay.
It also happened. It's also that the same policy is in Malawi. The same policy is in Kenya, and then South Africa.
So in Africa here.
In Africa here,
we have countries
that have it. Okay. In the same those same countries, they have inclusive education policy.
Okay.
Separately from the national albinism policy on education.
Okay.
These countries also have what we call the national policy on albinism on health.
Okay, so 3.
So these products that we're talking about, the sun care product, have been captured under the health segment, and that most of these countries have captured sun care products for persons with albinism on the national health insurance scheme.
Oh.
So any person with albinism can walk into any facility accredited by the National Health Insurance to have body care products, sun care products.
Come home. How does it work in Ghana? Can you get all these things on the national?
In some part of the country as well, in Kenya, the government also supply or join the crusade of institute what we call Sun Care Day or Skin Care Day, where products of sun care products are being given to the Association for Distribution.
Okay.
In Ghana here, all attempts to have sun care products on the national scheme have failed.
Why?
Why? Because of the will. The political will is not there.
The political will is not there.
It's not there, madam. Because if we ask government upon government, we have series of letters that even gone to the presidency, advocating or lobbying for the inclusion of sun care products, if not all sun care products, at least sun care products like the lotions on the scheme has proved futile. Oh, you hear from us, who arrange meetings and meet you. That ends it.
Okay, so this is a direct message from persons with albinism to the office of the president, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The persons with albinism have severally asked that these sunscreens and other products that are needed for the welfare and well-being of persons with albinism will be looked at. And so Parliament, all the CSOs, everybody who is a believer of Ghana, who is a citizen and not a spectator, please, Ministry of Health, let us all work together to ensure that there's a national policy that will ensure that persons with albinism can get these creams at an affordable basis or on affordable basis. Thank you on their behalf. Yes.
Viewers up there, if you still want to contact our guest stars here, get to our website, www.henryjabberfoundation.org.gh, or contact us through our social media, #Let'sTalkAbility on Twitter and Facebook, and we'll link you up for you to know more about albinism.
Overcomer, I am more than a conqueror. I'm a winner, not a loser. Overcomer, hey, I am more than a conqueror. I swear it. I swear it.
Show some love, respect.
Respect.